Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Fathericity. My name is Jermaine, and my co-host is Charlie. And yeah, what's up, Charlie?
What's going on, man? I mean, we've had a hell of a week. A bunch of financial stuff has been happening, still going on. And that's kind of where we left it off last time, is going over kind of the finances and the economic side of being a dad.
Yeah. So if you haven't been paying attention to the world right now, as a teacher teaching economics in class to students, I mentioned that some banks were failing and how our banking system is kind of in a rough spot right now, depending on who you talk to, and all that's been going on. And my students had zero clue what I was talking about. Zero clue. So that just tells you how little we know about economics and money and all that stuff.
I'm wondering, as an economics teacher, how do you teach that? Because I mean,
so
these high school kids don't understand. You know how many adults have zero idea? I mean, we probably don't fully understand what's going on with it either.
I'm not even talking about understand. They didn't even know it was taking place. Well, like a bank could shut down, like a bank could didn't have a lot of enough money. Like they didn't know that it was happening in their world. Like they were oblivious to it. Before we get started, I'm gonna say this too. We started watching Moneyball in class.
Okay.
And the kids, and we're talking about how economics runs in sports with sabermetrics and analytics and all that kind of stuff. And my kids were like, this is sports. This isn't economics. I was like, it absolutely is economics. And they're like, wow, this is cool. And like, oh, that's Brad Pitt. And oh, that's Star-Lord. And all anyway. So they're slowly starting to get it, but I only have about 8 weeks left with them. A semester is not enough.
I guess that's a pretty big ask.
Yeah. A semester is not enough. So just know that the world's happening around them every single day. This is all around the world. Again, this goes to us as adults too. We're not all that knowledgeable about what's going on around us. And to that point, let's continue with last week's discussion. This is episode 12 of the Fathericity podcast, economics part 2. And we kind of went on a few tangents last week, but after I got that out of the way, let's try to stay on track this week. But no, so last week I think we ended up with like budgeting, and Charlie was talking about how he and his wife budget and how they create a spreadsheet and how they both know what gets paid, how it gets paid, when it gets paid, and they kind of understand the flow of what comes in and what goes out. Is that correct?
Yeah, we have a better idea now, but yeah, that was the whole point of what we were doing.
So you pay the bills, right? Like you're the one that has to set up the accounts and you press send or pay, correct?
Whoa. No. I'm the one that had most of the accounts when we got together. A lot of times we're still using a bunch of the same accounts, okay? But no, we have moved to a place now where she takes care of actually scheduling and booking all the payments and monitoring the bank account. So we've done it both ways, but that is what we currently do. Is she oversees all of that. She knows where it is. I'll get a phone call every once in a while that says, hey, don't use your debit card very much this week because it's going to be a tight week. But yeah, we're kind of the opposite of the way you talk about y'all being. Is she's had times to where she wasn't that involved in it. She didn't want to see it. It was too much, but I wanted her to be involved and understand exactly what all was going on. And it was kind of one of these we keep a book with all of our passwords and our login information, which still with today's system half the time that's frustrating in itself. That's probably one of the biggest gripes she has about it is, hey, I'm trying this and it won't let me in. I can't pay this. So that's really the only time I get dragged into it is when she's tried 3 or 4 times to log in and she's frustrated because she's paying all the other bills and she can't get there. It's finally like, hey, I need you to take care of this one because I can't get in. But for the most part, I take care of like 3 bills. I'll pay cell phone, garbage, and that's it. It was electricity, but now that's on auto pay. So there you go. That's pretty much the two. And the cell phone's supposed to be on auto pay. So I'm slowly taking myself out of the bill paying mode, and it's all on her.
See, I likes that. I likes that. So what made it to where I may ask the question is, what made it to where in your relationship to where your wife decided I want a more hands-on approach to taking on the finances and paying and making sure our household's taken care of in that aspect?
I don't I don't remember exactly what it was. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was something probably along the lines of, hey, it was more just when we talk about it, I want you to know what's going on. So if you're asking for a sum of money to go do something or to spend on this, if we may or may not have it, I kind of want you to know why just as much as I know why. And I've always tried to, kind of keep that open between us that, hey, this is where we're at, this is where we're at. And then it gets good, you go for a while, and then everybody's just used to the way it is. And then you have to have one of the meetings like we did this past week to where you sit down and you go, okay, yeah, we're paying everything, but let's look and see for sure, kind of itemized how much money's going here, how much is going there, and you start trying to review and see where could we maybe pull back a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Again, that works for you. That works for your family. And that's
It,
great.
it works for us right now. I can tell you from experience that I talk to a lot of, let's say, older couples that go through this, and a lot of them kind of say, they've either always the man has always took care of all the finances, or that uh the wife has always took care of it and the other one wouldn't know how to pay anything. And sometimes in talking to them that those roles flip from time to time because there will be arguments about money. And whenever they're sitting there going, well, why is this? Or why was this late? Why did this, why are we paying this much over here? And most of the time somebody gets mad and they say, well, here, you just deal with it. You just take it all and you take care of it. And that's generally just talking to everybody kind of how the roles get switched. That wasn't necessarily our case, but a lot of people I've talked to, that's where it goes. Is
So
it's like
usually it's
a
like
fight.
it usually ends up it starts with a fight. It's like, fine, you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So my wife and I need to have one of those fights.
Do you just want off the hook for paying everything, man? Come on.
I don't mind it. It's like you said, it's all on. I mean, it's automated for the most part. I just swipe, so it's there. Um, so in our household, yeah. Again, we mentioned this last week. I mentioned this last week how I pay the bills in our household. I don't mind paying the bills in our household. I've mentioned a fear or a concern I had that one day my wife, if something were to happen to me, how would she be able to, pay bills and all this and that, accessing websites and accounts and everything else. And after we recorded last week, I literally went up to my wife and was like, I'm not trying to be like Charlie and his wife. We don't have to do things their way because everybody's different. But I was like, hey, we've talked about this a long, long time ago. And I need you to know what's what and how to pay for stuff. You don't have to pay for it, but at least know where the information is so you can access it if you want to. So we were going on our family vacation and we're coming home, as a matter of fact, and my wife gets an email from our mortgage company. And it says, hey, your yearly escrow amount has changed. Please log into your account to, look at the updates. And my wife is reading the email that she got from the mortgage company. She bought the house. Her name is on the deed.
Uh-huh.
And she reads the email and she wants to access the mortgage company's website or her account. And she doesn't know her username. She doesn't know her password to her account to pay for her house. And I was like, honey, I don't call her honey, but I was like, babe, I'm driving the truck with a travel trailer behind it. I don't feel comfortable reaching for my phone right now and doing what I need to do to log into your account on my phone to let you know what's going on. And then a day later, I mentioned that again. And I was like, do you really not want to know this stuff? And her answer was a solid no. She didn't want to know. She didn't want to know what was being paid, how much it was. I even asked her, like, babe, do you know how much your house payment is each month? A certain amount. And I was like, you're about $50 off. Okay.
That's close.
Our truck payment. Yeah, I know that's about X amount. I was like, yeah, you're about $25 off, but you're close. Cell phone bill. Like she was like, she didn't know the numbers. She didn't. And I blame myself.
Close. I mean,
she doesn't want to know this stuff, but she doesn't want to know that.
Not far off on those. I mean, I don't know about the other bills, but the two you just said, percentage wise, she's pretty tight on the numbers. I mean, she gets an idea.
She's tight on the numbers, but yes, I mean, she kind of has a ballpark figure, but she's just guessing. She's guessing well, but she's just guessing. Okay. But I asked her, I was like, do you want to know this stuff? Because like literally, I got direct deposit hit and I did my usual thing and just sat on my phone and just started paying stuff left and right. And I was sitting in the same room as her and I was like, babe, you're about to pay blah, blah, blah for this bill. I'm about to pay blah, blah, blah for this bill. I'm about to pay blah, blah, blah for that bill. Because she was adamant. She's like, ignorance is bliss. I don't want to know. Because if I know, I'll worry and I'll freak out. Yep. And I'd rather just not know.
Okay. See, I keep mine in a constant state of panic where she can look at all that. And I kind of like it that way.
Yeah. See, but here's the thing. And I almost wanted to say something, but I didn't. And you may know this, or your wife may know this. Have you ever, as a dad, had the money fears?
What do you mean? How like the money fears? Huh?
Like, you're just like sitting there and you're like, you go to Walmart, you're at Walmart and you want to buy one thing at Walmart and you end up buying a cart full of stuff.
Okay. And
you're checking out and you put your debit card or you put your cash out of your pocket and you're like balancing the budget in your head and you're trying to figure out what goes where and all this and that. And then you go to the car and you have this you're just mad. I just spent all that money. I'm still gonna pay for this, this, and this. And I just spent all this money. And it's stuff you need, but you weren't expecting to buy it right then. So like throws off your whole mood for the day. You just sit there like this.
Yeah, I don't know as though that's so much of a dad thing. Now I get that all the time, and my wife gets mad at me. But like whenever we go on vacations, we've talked about this some before. And whenever you're doing that, and it's like we just paid $10 for a hot dog that we could have made at the room or whatever by ourselves for $1. I mean, these kind of things, all the little things that add on whenever that feeling sinks in, it's like, I feel like I'm getting ripped off. I really do. And it's not so much a fear of, okay, now I've spent this money, how else am I going to do it? But yeah, there's definitely like some buyer's remorse that'll sit in every once in a while. And I think that's in a lot of money stuff to where it's like, look, we just wasted all this money at Walmart. And what I like to go to, and trust me, I don't do this as much as I should, but hey, we just spent all this money at Walmart. If we do that, 2 times a month for 6 months, we could have invested that money and what would we have had for it in 10 years versus, the little crap that we got from Walmart. And I think
Yeah.
that's like another level of thinking. I didn't grow up thinking that. Now that I'm getting to be an old man, that's more the way I look at it. It's like, hey, just think what this would have done in the last 30 years if I would have put my money
Yeah.
and did that.
Yeah.
But
So the game plan for me and my family, my wife, is she doesn't have to know the numbers. If she doesn't want to know them, she doesn't have to know. But I do want to have a handy,
yep.
tangible way for her, if she wants to access different accounts and to see what things are, what balances are, what we have left, what this credit, all that kind of stuff. Because
Well,
she just doesn't want to know. And again, she's so my wife, I love her, and I love her. And I'm not trying to dog her or talk bad about her. She's very neurotic about a certain things. And she will be hyper focused.
mhm.
I better keep my mouth shut and just be happy with what I've
Yeah,
got,
yeah, yeah.
because I'm not gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. I just bought a new phone and I'm not buying stuff if she has control of the money.
No,
I'm not buying anything.
I know because you're
I
gonna
wouldn't be
answer
allowed to.
every purchase, every purchase.
Yes. She would analyze everything.
Mhm.
I analyze everything after we pay our bills. But I learned, hey, but hey, and I'm gonna say this too. At 41, almost 42 years old,
Right?
it took us a whole minute, to pay bills first before you don't lost. Hey, you can. Is it better to be broke with your lights on, your
Yeah.
your water on, your heat on? You may be eating ramen noodles and hot dogs for a week, but your car's not getting repoed and all that kind of stuff. And early in our relationship, that was not always the case. And we did not take care of business like we're supposed to. So I'm telling you, every time payday hits, the first thing I do, house payment, mortgage, car payment, vehicle,
Right?
water, gas, electricity. That's the first things I pay for.
Yep.
I mean, because I know it's there. I know it's going to get paid. I'm not going to spend that much money on other stuff before then. I have to pay those because, and our relationship, and we've told people. I mean, we had a car repoed once, and I made a mistake and missed a payment on the house and got us in a bad spot. It's not fun. So, like, this financial thing, responsibility thing is heavy. And I think my wife was just like, she just doesn't want to deal with that stress. But so I understand why she doesn't want to see it, but I need to at least give her access and let her know it's okay. If she wants to see it, it's there. Because I don't want to feel like I'm gatekeeping our finances.
Well, and I
Because
also
that's
think
not,
that y'all are a perfect case because y'all get paid once a month, right?
oh yeah.
Both of y'all get paid once a
Yeah.
month. So there is absolutely no way that I could do that without a strict budget. I get paid every week. So I mean, yeah, some stuff slips through. We're gonna have next week and be able to do it. If all the money's there at one time, especially, it's not that bad week 1, week 2, but week 3, 4 is when I
It's
mean,
always week 3, sometimes week 2.5.
right?
Yeah.
So
But
it's
and that's
where
the
it
thing. And
starts
I'll be
sinking in.
honest, as a teacher, the summers are rough. They are rough.
Because you have all the time in the world to go do stuff.
Yes.
Nothing but
But
free
you feel like you
time
should.
and the same amount of money that you have during the year. Yeah, yeah, that's always been a thing me and my buddies have always run into. You just watch people. A lot of times you either have time or money. It's tough to have both at the same time.
Hmm. it would be a wonderful world to have both.
Well,
But
sure, it'd come with
I
its
don't
own
play the
problem,
lottery.
but
I don't lottery. I don't gamble. So I'm not gonna try.
I'm for real. I need to hook y'all up with with a decent budget program, and that is, I mean, if you do it, man, it would take a little bit of the stress, and it would be somewhere to where, like this last one I used. If you go on there, it's real simple and it's visual. So like that would be one place, like a snapshot of where everything is that you could just show her, if she was ever curious or she just wanted to look.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
young dads out there, not only young dads, dads in general. If you're older, this can be just as big a problem because it's easy to get into it with kids too. Because when your kids need something or want something and you feel like you haven't given them enough, or you just want to do that for them because you didn't have that as a kid, or so whatever it may be, it is easy to spend a lot of money on your children before you'd even know.
yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
that is a big thing, and being able to keep that in check and not get yourself in a bind trying to make sure your kid has what everybody else's kid has, or make sure that your kid has everything they want. Because the thing about it is the more stuff we get them, the more stuff they're going to want.
Yeah. And my son has a toy room full of stuff that he wanted for all of maybe 5 seconds.
Yeah.
The only thing he wants to play with, that he will play with all the time, we have figured out, is Play-Doh.
Okay. Okay.
And Play-Doh's cheap,
Play-Doh is pretty cheap.
but
Play-Doh can be messy.
it's also
Play-Doh's
messy, and he leaves it out and it dries and cakes up, and
Uh-huh.
you don't want him to play with it, but you would make his world. Matter of fact, last week we went on for spring break. He went to a doctor's appointment, and we had to find something for him to do after that because we're parents and it was spring break. Our kid has to do something.
Mhm.
We went to a children's museum, and guess what my son played with for a solid hour?
They had like a Play-Doh station or something, didn't they?
No,
No. Okay.
even better, even
What the heck?
better. Cardboard boxes.
Yep. Yep.
Their main exhibit for the season is cardboard boxes, and kids from 6 months to 12 years old was just in a giant room full of cardboard boxes, and they had
That is
the times of their lives.
Yeah. Do you know how many times I know as a dad, a lot of you out there has experienced this, but you and your spouse or whoever buy a gift, or maybe maybe your parents bought it for your kid or whatever. And it's like, man, they're going to love it. This is going to be awesome. And it's a fairly big item and it comes in a big box, and they get it and they discard this high dollar piece of equipment, playing equipment, over to the side, and they turn the box into a spaceship or a house or a fort or whatever it is, and they'll play with it for 2 months while this
Yeah,
toy that was supposed to be really cool just sits over there and collects dust.
it's funny how as much as we say about kids, we as adults do it too. Like, it's weird. Like, I could probably find some little knick-knacky thing to play with and not spend hundreds of dollars to be entertained for all of 5 minutes, when I'm not gonna lie, I don't have ADHD, at least I don't think I do. But a fidget spinner, I could just go all day
Right.
and just go about my day just doing this, and not spend, by buying a used Oculus or Meta Quest VR headset. That thing's still sitting in the corner, but I can just do fidget spinner all day. Cost $1, maybe. I don't know. If I get a football, I can just toss a football all day. $3.99 at Walmart, no big deal. I don't need the $75 Madden game because I'm not going to play it. It's crazy how we do that. We as adults do it too. But so let me ask you this question, because I got one coming up and it's going to suck.
Okay.
You mentioned it last week. You talked about tires.
Okay.
But like, what do you do how do you go about a big emergency type purchase? Like it's like it's big,
Okay.
and and it just disrupts what you've got going on.
So
How do you deal with those?
ideally it shouldn't destroy what you have going on. Okay. What it should be is there should be a certain, let's say, percentage of your car payment or something like that. You should take and you should put in like a car repair fund every month. And you just put that over there. And it's like, okay, I got enough in there for tires. I know I'm going to need tires every 3 years or however often you go through tires. I go through tires about once a year. I'll put on about 50 or 60,000 miles and I'll have to get a pair of tires. But you should take that money and have that kind of set over here to the side to where whether it's 10% of your car payment or whatever, put that in another fund. And then now that's building up. So in 2 years, if something happens, as your car gets older and you've steadily been putting that up, now you have it. And if you manage to do something with your vehicle and you didn't have to do it, you can use that for a down payment or something. But that way you're not caught off guard by, hey, we drove this car and we didn't foresee we were going to need to spend the money on it, because every car is going to have repairs. You can either trade it off when you wear the tires out, or you can plan on buying tires for it. So that would probably be the best way to handle that.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Is that-
That's amazing. And why have I not been doing that?
What do you mean? Because that's another 10% or whatever of the car payment.
I know, but I mean, again, hearing you say that, like the light bulb went off in my brain. Like hearing you say that was like, that's the most common sense thing I've ever heard.
But Jermaine, there's a lot of
Just
things
sit.
like that that are common sense when you're talking budgetary and financially, that when you get to real life application is hard.
It's
If you
hard,
put that
yeah,
money
but like I'm not
somewhere,
gonna lie, I need tires on one car, and I think another truck we've got. We haven't been driving it because I let my cousin use it, but she told me that it's pretty much something happened. She was driving it and it just started grinding and knocking real bad. I was like, oh, here we go. So I'm like, crap. And I'm like, so that's why I asked the question. I'm like, I'm about to shell out some money if I want to fix it.
yep.
Or do I just let it go? But like, you gotta balance that out. Do I let this paid for vehicle go,
Uh-huh.
sell it for parts, or try to do something with it? Or do I fix it, put myself in a bit of a hole, but fix it knowing that I have that second vehicle? Or can I live without it? Like I'm sitting there like kind of, and you saying that, and again, practically, I'm like, if I would have set X amount of dollars aside, I'll still be out of pocket some, but not the amount I think I might be.
Right. It wouldn't be a crazy expense. I mean, you may still have to add to that and kind of pay that back later. But yeah. But I mean, that's like as simple as, a bunch of financial advices. For instance, here's one that's awesome, real basic, as simple as you could possibly get, hard to do. Okay. You ready for this? This is the greatest gem of financial advice that anybody can ever give you. Okay.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. You may need to get a pen. Write this down. We're recording it so you can listen back. Here's one of the keys to finances. Okay. Spend less than you bring home. That right there. It's simple. It's simple, right? 100%. There's nothing. It's no magic button. There's nothing to it. Harder to do than it is to say.
And what's funny was I got my cell phone. I was all ready to type. I was like, he's got a nugget. He's got a nugget. And I'm like,
sure.
man, if like you said, practically in theory, it makes perfect sense, but in application, it's something different.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just life. Yeah.
And teaching that to your kids, teaching that because they see the way we spend money. They see how we handle finances as they grow up. And you're setting that example of how their relationship with money is going to be. and be
Okay.
real careful.
Okay. So I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. So Charlie just gave us a nugget, listeners. Get you a little car fund, set something aside every month so that when it happens, you got a little cushion. It may not pay for it, but you won't be completely out of pocket. That's good. Get a car shield subscription or something. I don't know. I want to ask this question to be more on the lighter side.
Okay.
What is the expense? It doesn't have to be a big one. What is the thing I think I might have asked this last week too. You have to get. Like, what's something that you're just like, I work hard, I do what I do, I'm going to get this, or I want this, I'm going to add this. What is that thing for you? For example, that's what I mean by that. I was talking about to my wife yesterday about this. If I'm at a restaurant, I can eat on the cheaper end of the menu. I don't have a problem with that. I will never order a hamburger.
Hold on.
I've got to have cheese.
Okay, so you got to have a
I've
cheese.
got to have cheese. It's got to be a cheeseburger. If it's $2 extra for cheese, I will order the $12.99 cheeseburger and add the $2 for cheese, then buy the $13, $14 chicken fried steak. Because I'm like, I know I could spend $4 less if I don't get cheese on this burger, but I want cheese on my burger.
No, there's
like
some
that
things
kind of
out there.
thing.
I mean,
like you mentioned Whataburger, you gotta have 2 meat patties on it or something. Like, what's the thing? Like, you're always gonna buy it, no matter what it costs. It's always gonna be there.
Okay, well, you said the other part of that is to where you get to looking at it and it's like, I work hard, so I'm going to do this. Okay, so things in my life that have been that way, and I'll kind of go back and forth, but every once in a while, one of the toughest things for me when I actually started making, livable money, and I'm sitting here going through everything, a vehicle. And you can convince yourself when you do it, well, no, I don't need this basic custom model over here. I need the more decked out one. I need the one that has all the bells and whistles and all the stuff that I'm probably never going to use in the whole time that I own this vehicle, but it's nice. I know it's nice. Other people know it's nice. And I can justify it, and you see a whole lot of people justify it. I spend so much time in my truck and I drive so much that I basically live out of it. So I want it to be as nice as I can.
Yeah.
So I've been there in the past to where that's what I wanted. I'm now kind of in the middle of the road there. I will generally get 4-wheel drive if it's a little bit of difference in buying the truck when I buy it, for 2-wheel drive or just 4-wheel drive, just because the 4-wheel drive is going to have better resale when you go to get rid of it. But a large majority of that is just, I feel like I work hard and I do all this, and that's the biggest trap you can get into financially is, well, I deserve this. No, you don't. You deserve to still be riding around in the same hoopty you had in high school is what you should be doing, and then putting money up. But that's not the way a lot of us work. And I'm telling you, it's the same way with your kids, man. We go out of our way to get the nicest, best thing for our kids, and we buy them so much of the nicest, best thing that they don't appreciate it because they never had the crap me and you had when we were kids to be able to enjoy it. They don't know any other way.
There was no crap to have. That was the thing. Like, we played with, well, I said my son plays with sticks, so let me not act like he don't play with sticks. He would much rather play with sticks and dirt and cardboard boxes and Play-Doh, and he'd be fine. And I'm the one, and my wife's worse than me, but I'm bad. I see something again on a marketplace, something that's been used but it's like in good condition. He's got to have it. He's got to have it. Oh my gosh, it'd be perfect. And he doesn't need it. But I said, so yeah, it was cheeseburgers and how to get cheese. I always gotta have cheese on whatever it is.
Okay.
And games, like video games. Like, I always gotta find a video game on sale, cheap. used, whatever. I gotta get a deal, but I'm gonna always find a video game to buy, even though I don't play it. I buy it, I look at it, it looks pretty. I have the box, I set it down, I put it in the Switch or whatever, and it just sits there for 6 months. I got a backlog of maybe 80 games that I'll probably never play. Wow. And my thought is, I gotta save them because Trent is gonna grow up one day and he's gonna play all these games.
And all of your systems are going to be so old by then that it's going to be so boring. He isn't going to want to have anything to do with it.
GameCube, Wii, Wii U, Super Nintendo Classic, Nintendo Classic, Switch, no. Xbox One.
He's going to be so much into the metaverse and stuff when he gets there that it's not even like it's going to be reality for him to like step into the game and he's really going to feel like he's there. It's not going to be.
Well, he'll have the old school Meta Quest too.
Your games right now are going to be about like Duck Hunt is when you look back and see Duck Hunt on the Nintendo. It's going to be the same way. Everything's going to advance so much more by the time.
Yeah, trust me, I know, but
yeah, my other thing would probably be golf. I'll get that same way with golf to where it's like, hey, I need this to kind of go get away from everything. And golf is kind of good I like it because you get out there and you don't have to worry about anything. If you can avoid taking work phone calls, you get out there and it's just you and this little ball running around this pasture, trying to get it up here to this hole. That's all it is. Try not to lose the ball. Try to put the ball in the hole. That's all you do.
There you go. There you go.
But you got any final words of wisdom for the dads out there as we finish up financial talk here?
Financial talk, all I can say is, dads, as Charlie's put it, like, just really know what you're spending, put it down on paper somewhere, figure out what's coming in, what's going out, and be informed. Don't just put your head in the sand and just say it is what it is. Like, make the tough choices if you got to. Cut back on the things you got to cut back on you can live without, but make sure you take care of the necessities first. That's my soapbox. Look, take care of your necessities first.
Man, that's a huge thing. If everybody out there will just do that, pay your bills first, not last. That's a huge step. Because we had when I was in the car business, there was a saying that the easiest way to get back on your feet was to miss a car payment because they'd come get it. And dealing with a lot of people, if you can't afford to make your payments this month, you can't afford to make 2 payments next month. So that's always something you need to do. There's no catching back up. So, all right. Well, it's kind of a depressing financial episode, but
no, I think it was good. Everybody
out there, like, subscribe, comment, share. Let us know if y'all want to hear any more financial content or what y'all would like to hear us talk about. I think we need to start doing like some father product